Thank you. My questions will be to staff, although I'm hoping through them to get some insight from the applicant. The residents that have talked to us today have asked about consideration. And so my first question is, was there consideration given at one point to developing within the existing zoning? Yes or no?
Thank you for the question, Councillor Hardwick. It's once again Senior Development Planner Kevin Spans here. Looking at the existing RM3 district schedule, and I will do my best to speak for the applicant here. Following the RM3 district schedule by the book, which permits on this site 1.11 FSR, and then following the side yard and rear yard setback requirements, the development would be either a 2,700 square foot floor plate building at 6 stories, or a 1,350 square foot building at up to 12 stories, which would effectively be a high-end strata building supportable at this site. So, without being able to speak for the applicant, I would assume a low viability for social housing development.
Okay, I wasn't really talking about the tenure. I was really talking about height and mass. Putting the the tenure aside. That's not really material. So the massing height and setbacks here, again, we've got neighbors that are asking for consideration. What I really want to know is what consideration has been taken. I know that we want to create as many units as possible, but we don't want to alienate everybody that lives around there. So what has been done to take them into consideration?
Absolutely, and thank you for the question. One of the things that we look really closely at in any development is contextual fit, and we absolutely have heard the concern from the neighbors. It's kind of a unique situation because the existing building 555 West 14th, adjacent to this site, wraps the site on 2 sides, we considered in terms of the setbacks of the proposal, not just the setbacks but the height itself, and really considered potential impacts to privacy, privacy, shadowing, etc., and determined that even with additional setbacks, any development on the site that met zoning would have the same commensurate impact in terms of shadowing on the the northwest wing of 555 West 14th at 10 a.m. on spring, fall, and summer solstices. I'll note, and without going through the time of bringing up the backup slides, but we're happy to do that, the shadow is off the building by noon in the summer and just shortly after noon on spring and fall.
So what you're saying is that even within the existing zoning, it would have had impacts, particularly on shadowing on the adjacent buildings.
Anything over 2 stories in height would have had a commensurate shadow impact on the adjacent building.
Okay, I think it's important for the residents to understand that. So what you're saying then, the extent to which there's additional shadowing, it would not be as significant given the difference between the existing zoning and the proposed rezoning.
That's a little harder to answer, but imagining a situation where we built up to the existing zoning height, which is roughly 11 stories on the site, we could have had a building with the same length, but the breadth of the shadow, because of the orientation of the site, would not have been significantly different. So really it would have been a question of shadow length and not breadth. And since this building is directly adjacent the site, the shadow impacting 555 West 14th would have been the same, no matter the height.
We did hear from an architectural technologist who had been doing some modeling. I hope that you'll be able to have a look at that. Is there any opportunity going forward, and I'm out of time, but I hope it'll stick with you and the applicant to ameliorate anything on the massing and the setbacks?
Yep, definitely. This project will be going through the development permit process, and I will note that we've prepared a design development condition to at least soften the interface with the adjacent building in consideration of the neighboring building. It won't impact mass too much, but it's something that we can work with the applicant on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.